A local landmark is gone. What concerned community members are doing to make sure that this area doesn't look like this forever. I'm Brittany Shannon with today's Top 11 stories straight ahead. iTunes U is not limited to just students. People from around the world are picking up the free app, selecting a course, and learning. Right now, we're almost fully inflated. 250,000 basketballs would fit inside of here. For 19 years, a murder has haunted Lancaster County. But the victim's family, law enforcement, and even those who never knew her are determined to answer the question, who killed Christy Marak?
Hi, Chad. Well, that's right. Representative Tom Creighton is hosting the hearing at Manheim Central Middle School today to discuss House Bill 111.
That small model that John built helped to raise thousands of dollars that eventually created this.
He's the boy with the orange backpack, but unlike most 6-year-olds, Tony Ford carries this bag around 18 hours out of the day.
And that backpack is keeping me alive.
Tony was born with a rare intestinal disorder called Hirschsprung's disease.
When I was just a little baby, I got sick, really sick, so they had to take me to the hospital and put this in me.
But he does not let his illness or his backpack weigh him down.
He's like a giant firework. He's just going everywhere.
Tony needs stomach, intestinal, and liver transplants. His 2 brothers have been fundraising ever since doctors told them it would cost around $1 million.
I'm speechless because having them grow into this life and being able to give back, I didn't have to tell them.
It's amazing how everyone just bonds together. Like, it's not just our community. Like, we have people out in California, Tennessee, even out in Minnesota.
I think we're gonna get enough money, and I saw a shooting star, so I wish what I had to do, and I'm not gonna tell you.
But 9-year-old Dominic did tell us what he plans to give Tony for his 7th birthday.
I'm gonna give him a birthday gift that's so cool, and I think it's his transplant.
And with overwhelming community support, the Ford family hopes a birthday wish is soon reality.
How can you thank somebody in a whole mess of people to give life to your child? There's just not those words.
Since last summer, the Manheim community has remained uneasy as company Minsec proposed a 144-bed community corrections facility within the borough.
You don't want to live in fear in any town you move to. The facility is 2 blocks from one of the elementary schools, 5 blocks from where my grandchildren go to school.
Thursday night, around 200 of those worried citizens had their fears put to rest.
That project's not going to happen here in Manheim.
State Representative Tom Creighton organized the hearing to make way for discussion on House Bill 111. The proposed bill would place restrictions on transitional housing facilities, permitting only 2 parolees to be housed for every 1,000 residents in the community.
I think we could handle a halfway house with 10. And we could, the churches and ministerium would get involved and become part of the solution.
But now Manheim won't have to worry about that.
In Manheim, we're placing that on hold while we work with the county to find a more suitable location.
According to officials, Pennsylvania's prisons are severely overpopulated. By establishing halfway houses, prisons would have more space for serious criminals. Plus, some say they are necessary to provide a safe move back into the community.
The question I pose to people often is this: do you feel safer when people fling open the prison doors and just let people come back, without any prior connections to the community? Or do you feel more safe knowing that they're being integrated slowly?
But the question remains where?
It's wide open.
To law enforcement, her case is one that has gone on for 19 years too long. And to someone who never knew her, Christy Marak is a name that has always stuck with him. All of these people and agencies want one question answered: who killed Christy Marak?
19 years ago, 4 days before Christmas, life changed drastically for one family.
I can't imagine what they continually go through.
25-year-old school teacher Christy Marak was brutally beaten and murdered in her Greenfield Estates townhome. Lieutenant Robin Weaver was on patrol that day.
Hate to think about it. It's a very tragic day. We get reminded of it every year at this time.
19 years have passed, and the East Lampeter Township Police Department continues to actively investigate any and all leads. none putting anyone behind bars.
Most frustrating because, you know, it's been this long and you haven't been able to solve it.
That is not stopping police or Christy's family from having hope that one day this case will be closed. But until it is, Christy's family says they cannot forget.
The pain is always there. I mean, there's not a day that goes by that, you know, we don't think about her.
Christy's brother Vince was 21 at the time of her death. He says all his big sister ever wanted was to teach.
She finally achieved that dream, and it was taken away from her just like that.
Christy's passion for teaching is what inspired Fred Nell to put the unsolved case in the public eye.
I kept driving by the school, I kept driving by the place she used to live at, thinking about her. I value education. I value that Christy could still be teaching today, 19 years later.
Nell never met Christy or her family, but his signs and t-shirts are reminders that she should not be forgotten, and any information should be shared.
I just knew I could make a difference, and I know one person can make a difference on trying to solve this case.
A sentiment reflected by each person who has been touched by Christy before or after her death.
You can end this, and the family can get final closure to what happened to their daughter.
We desperately want to solve this case. We're very determined to do so, you know, for the family and for Christy.
I don't even want to have to deal with the 20th year anniversary of Christy's death.
At Adventure Aquarium, you can find any creature imaginable, from the fierce to the cute, majestic, and the somewhat slimy. But today's job lands me the title of biologist at Seal Shores. But as glamorous as this part of the job looks, I was in for a rude awakening at the start of the day. Dead fish.
And we're going to prep them up for our session, which is going to take place in a few minutes.
After food prep, now it's time to meet and train our friend Kia, a gray seal with a sense of humor.
They all have their own different personalities. You come in and one really happy to see you and one kind of leaves you alone that day, and then the next day it's vice versa. So you never know what to expect with these guys.
It all started off well. Each seal has their own letter, so Kia knows that J means it's time for a snack.
This is probably one of the easiest behaviors that we had to teach them. They only get fed when they go to this shape.
Then we take Kia through a series of husbandry behaviors, things that biologists do to check the animal's health.
We want to brush her teeth, keep her teeth nice and clean.
Now the fun part, going through natural behaviors or something the seal would do in the wild, like a barrel roll.
Oh, we're going to spin them one over top of the other. She's going to do a nice little barrel roll behavior.
Ripping their food.
That's one thing she uses her flippers for. The other thing that she uses her flippers for is to groom. So we're going to use our left hand and we're going to rub it next to our head like we have an itch. We're going to pretend. She does that cute little groom behavior.
Or making all kinds of noises.
You can kind of hear it. Her wheeze.
It's a lot of fun, but there also is that dirty side where you have to do the dishes.
But despite the hard work, my new friends gave my job as a marine biologist a 10.